This is the share of US TV viewing time by distributor. It's clear that if YouTube didn't exist, Netflix would be the most popular streaming platform in the world. YouTube now has a massive watch time, outpacing Disney, Netflix, and all traditional media combined. But as people jump from traditional content creation over to YouTube, they discover this whole new world. Maybe you bought yourself some recording equipment, or maybe you just decided it's time to start that channel you've been thinking about. And so YouTube is now in your hands. You open it up and you realize that YouTube is actually much harder than you think. There are so many components: titles, script writing, editing, thumbnails, video ideation. So much is going on, and then you dabble into the world of thumbnails specifically. You don't know anything and you're lost. This is why you're in the D tier. The tier where you know nothing. You're chucking pickles at a wall expecting that this thumbnail will work, hoping and leading it performs. That's where you discover the guru saying, hey, you should copy thumbnails based on outliers. So you do that. You find people in your own niche, your competition, and you also find competition in the industry. You start looking at their thumbnails, you begin to see patterns and identify what's working and what's not. You copy one of them thinking, oh my God, I love this. And you create a copied version of a thumbnail from one of your competitors. It kind of works. Then you move on to the second video and you're all messed up again. You don't know where to begin. This is where you enter the C tier, the stage of blind replication. You try to recreate that initial success by copying again, but you're paralyzed by choice. Should you copy the same competitor or a different one? You bounce between channels, copying different thumbnails for each video, but nothing feels consistent. One video you're mimicking a reaction face style, the next you're trying a text-heavy approach, then a minimalist design. Your thumbnail looks like Frankenstein of other people's work. Worse, you don't understand why that first copied thumbnail worked. So your results are wildly inconsistent. Some videos do okay, others flop completely. And after copying enough different channels and seeing enough varied results, the patterns finally start to click. You're beginning to understand what actually works, not just what looks good. This is where you enter B tier, the world of inspiration. Now that you know what your competition is doing and what works for them, you start saving those thumbnails that are actually worth studying. You open a new folder on your desktop titled Thumbnail Inspiration, and you begin saving everything that resonates with you, something that you can use in the near future. You can save great thumbnails from all sort of channels, and now you're finally able to make thumbnails without copying. You're finally able to create thumbnails without starting from scratch every single time. But this is when you realize that your titles are lacking. The thumbnails might be good, but the titles are not great. This is where you enter A tier. You start experimenting with different titles. You find titles using the same strategy, but it's not working as well as it should. Your thumbnails keep getting more and more unique from others. There's brand consistency, but the titles just don't seem to be working. So you dive deep into the world of titles. Now you create the title folder. It contains a list of all the prospective titles, all the outliers, or all the formats you could possibly have. Now the thumbnail and title are playing really well together. However, here's the problem. They go well with each other, but not great. This is where you enter the S tier. You will now learn how to create godly level titles and godly level thumbnails. Thumbnails and titles that go seemingly beautiful together. It makes no sense, but they're generating millions of views. This is where you stop asking, what should I copy? And start asking, what has nobody ever done before? You understand the rules so well that you know exactly how to break them strategically. Look at these thumbnails that went viral by breaking every conventional rule. This one uses abstract shapes that shouldn't work. This one has way too much text by traditional standards. But they worked because they created genuine curiosity that viewers have never experienced before. You mastered the art of pattern interrupts. When someone scrolls through their homepage, seeing the same style over and over again, your thumbnail stops them. Not by being loud or bright, but by being strategically unexpected. But even A-tier designers can get obsessed with being different just for the sake of being different. They optimize for uniqueness instead of results. That's why S-tier is the final evolution. S-tier isn't about more complexity, it's about strategic mastery. You've understood thumbnail psychology so completely that you can create breakthrough results with deceptively simple concepts. S-tier thumbnail designers follow three core principles. First, audience alignment. Your thumbnail isn't about what looks cool to you, it's about what makes your specific audience unable to scroll past. You understand their psychology, their pain points, their desires so deeply that your thumbnails feel like they were made specifically for them. Second, the hook and lock method. Your thumbnail creates curiosity. Your title locks them into clicking. They work together like a comedian's setup and punchline. The thumbnails opens a loop in their mind while the title promises to close it, but only if they click. Third, strategic pattern breaking. You don't break rules randomly. You understand your audience's expectations so completely that you can subvert them in ways that create irresistible intrigue. This is what happens when you reach S-tier. Established channels seeing 10 times improvements. One client went from 500,000 monthly views to 5.7 million views in a single month. Another one hitting 1.3 million views on their very first video. When you reach S-tier, thumbnails become a tool, not your main focus. You understand human psychology so deeply that creating scroll-stopping concepts becomes second in nature. You're not designing thumbnails, you're designing curiosity, and that's when you discover the next level entirely. Hey, if you're serious about transforming your thumbnails from guesswork into a predictable system, follow my three core principles and apply them to your next video. But if you want to skip months of trial and error and get straight to what works for your specific niche, let's talk. Click the link in the description below to book a free call with me. I'll see you there. Peace.